I just got back from a fabulous weekend in Kyoto, and I did it all without an itinerary because who the hell with chronic illness can follow an itinerary? Hi, I'm Sally. I live with chronic illness and I'm a travel advisor, and I help people like me find nervous system supportive travel. I just spent the weekend in Kyoto and I had two main objectives that I wanted to achieve. To spend some quality time with Japanese friends of mine there doing some cultural activities, and to spend a lot of time in the park Hyatt Kyoto where I was staying and take full advantage of the ambience, the beautiful Japanese aesthetic, relaxing, looking at the trees, all of the above. And I think I managed to pull it off. So keep watching to come along with me and see how it all turned out. So I took the Shinkansen from Tokyo Station to Kyoto, and I took a taxi to Tokyo Station so that I wouldn't get PEM. I also packed as light as I could so that I wouldn't get PEM from schlepping my bags all around the station like I did last time that I went to Kyoto 2 years ago. In addition, I booked the green car for the Shinkansen, which is kind of like business class. That typically is fewer foreigners and more Japanese people, which means less infection risk. And also, as you can see, the seats are a little bit bigger and more comfortable. You have a little bit more legroom, just generally more comfy. So you can see the Park Hyatt is in a pretty busy and touristy neighborhood, but it manages to provide calm and tranquility in the midst of that. To the right there is the Minenzaka path, and then up to the left here is the Ryozen Gokoku Jinja Torii Gate. And then the entrance is this beautiful, calming, quiet Japanese style, which really continues throughout the entire property. There are beautifully placed artifacts throughout, and lots of lovely wood, these lovely doors that open automatically. The aesthetic is just quite wonderful. This is the lobby area, and everything happens here sitting down, even check-in, so great for us chronic illness folks. This area behind the lobby they call the living room. You can get drinks, afternoon tea, and they have free drinks for globalists every night at 5 with the koto play. Then upstairs there's another public area where you can sit and look at the view. Really no shortage of beautiful spaces if you're having a low energy day and just want to sit and enjoy the atmosphere. My room was in the second of the two buildings, and this beautiful garden connects the two. Now this is my room, and this was a standard king garden view that I booked on points. No upgrades available, which is very common for the Park Hyatt Kyoto. They are typically sold out, and no suites available for a suite upgrade award. But really this room was just more than adequate. As you can see in the entranceway there, they give you yukata to wear while you're on the property, and free shoe shine. Tons of storage space for your luggage, which is all neat and tidy. Cupboards if you want to unpack things, and this beautiful mini bar. Obviously the drinks are not included, but water, tea and coffee all included, and just beautifully laid out everything. In fact, I meant to steal the lovely packets of tea, and I've realized I completely forgot to do that, which is such a shame and a missed opportunity. Now you will see here that the drinks are in a cooler rather than a regular fridge, which typically isn't cold enough for refrigerated meds, but I didn't have mine with me because I was just there for the weekend. If I had, I would have requested a proper fridge, and I'm sure they would have been happy to provide one. Even more hanging space, and look at those beautiful hangers. As we come into the main bedroom, you can see they have got a separate dining and sitting area as well as the main bed. And in fact, I did have room service the first night for dinner and sit there to eat it, which was very comfortable. They gifted me these absolutely delicious grapes, which I'm sure for Japan were incredibly expensive, and the all-important air purifier that they requested, and they happily put in the room for me. Fabulously comfortable bed, and they did put on hypoallergenic bedding for me, and then coming into a huge and comfortable bathroom. Then coming into the fabulous Japanese style bidet toilet. I'm going to be so spoilt when I get home. Even my apartment in Japan has one of those. Fluffy robes in addition to the yukata, which I did wear. And then the obligatory rain shower, which I hate, but most important of all, the shower head for the main shower was on a separate control and angled towards the wall, which is a sign of a very good hotel because it means when you turn on the shower, you don't spray yourself in the face. And then the most important bit of this beautiful room is that fabulous picture window with the beautiful garden outside. I spent many hours just lying on my bed looking at that view. So to say a bit about the breakfast, which is free for globalists like me, there is a huge buffet for you to help yourself to, and then entrees listed on that menu that you can also order to go with that. I spend a lot of time in hotels, as you know, and I very easily get bored of the breakfast buffet on day 2, but that was not the case here. Here's a little sampling of what I ate on the first 2 mornings. Now they also offer a Japanese-style breakfast, which is provided by their Michelin star restaurant Kyoyo and is an additional charge of 3,000 yen, which is about $20. I chose to have this on Monday. I had a bit of time before my train back, and oh my goodness, it was delicious. My first ever Michelin-starred breakfast. Saturday morning, I met my friend at Sanju Sangendo, which is a temple built around the 1100s and houses 1,000 statues of Kannon, the goddess of compassion. Now, these are all inside, and you're not allowed to video or photograph inside, but I did take a little bit of the gardens outside because they were also beautiful. My friend chose this temple because it was nearby to the wagashi making class we were doing in the afternoon. Now, I have done all of the main spots in Kyoto before, but I had never been to this temple, and it was super fun. Then in the afternoon, we went to this beautiful sweet shop nearby for a class on how to make wagashi, which are the traditional sweets that you would eat with tea ceremony matcha. Very old, beautiful building with a classroom upstairs and a fantastic teacher who took us through how to make these beautiful sweets, and it was super fun and very interesting and very delicious. And best of all, chronic illness friendly. It was inside, so air conditioned and sitting down. Then the obligatory Japanese style photo with the teacher at the end. Sunday I had a nice lie-in and then I went to the spa. I haven't had a massage in 1,000 years because of a crashing nervous system, but it suddenly occurred to me that actually my nervous system is doing much better, and they had shiatsu on the menu, which is dry massage, i.e. no oil, which I hate, that disgusting slimy oil. So I thought I would give it a go. And first of all, they bring you into the women's bathhouse and give you pajamas to change into. Then we started in this treatment room with tea, and she washed my feet. And then into this treatment room which has an air purifier, and then afterwards more tea and cookies. Then this is the women's onsen, and I did double check there was nobody in here before. It is typical traditional onsen. Full disclosure, with our illness, we are not really well enough to be getting in the hot water. I did do the full washing ritual, and then I stuck one foot in the hot water and said, oh, no, that's not going to work for me. These are the rules of what you do in an onsen. And then these are the cautions, and I think we are heavily on that list if you have POTS or MCAS. Sunday afternoon I took a taxi to the Pokémon Center and also met my friend for sashimi dinner. Spot the private room, yay for Japan. Then finally my friend took me second-hand kimono shopping, which was so much fun. And of course I found a taxi to take me home because nobody is walking up that hill with chronic illness. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found that enjoyable, and more importantly, I hope it gave you tips and ideas on how you can plan similar chronic illness accessible trips. Take care.